Off the northern coast of Somalia, flight deck crews on the USS Harry S. Truman worked with practiced precision. The carrier turned into the wind, generating the 30-knot headwind needed for optimal launch conditions. In the ready room, pilots received final intelligence briefings on their Target A, heavily fortified cave network in Somalia's Golis Mountains, harboring the region's most dangerous extremist cell. Below-deck weapons teams loaded the final BLU-109 bunker busters onto 12 A-18 Super Hornets. Each aircraft's weapon system performed automatic diagnostics confirming targeting parameters and release sequences. The squadron commander reviewed the mission profile one final time. This operation required precise timing and coordination that only their aircraft could deliver. The air boss initiated the launch sequence over the ship's communication system. The catapult crews took their positions as the first Super Hornet taxied into place. The catapult officer signaled the launch. With a huge jolt, the first FA-18 accelerated from a standstill to 170 miles per hour. In 2 seconds, one after another, the remaining aircraft launched in 30-second intervals. The formation climbed to 20,000 feet before turning east toward the Somali coastline. As they entered Somali airspace, the flight split into designated strike elements. Each four-plane team had specific targets inside the cave complex. The lead pilot activated his targeting systems, syncing data across the entire strike group. Mission planners had rejected the F-35 and Tomahawk options. This mission demanded something more. It needed a workhorse with brute force, capable of delivering the heaviest bunker busters in the fleet. That aircraft was the FA-18 Super Hornet. Unlike other naval jets, the Super Hornet delivers a stunning 17,750 pounds of external weapons, 80% more than the legacy Hornet. This expanded payload lets it carry multiple 2,000-pound penetrator bombs while keeping defensive missiles on board, removing the need for escort aircraft. With a combat radius of 449 nautical miles on internal fuel, it could launch from the Truman and hit deep targets in Somalia without immediate refueling. And when needed, buddy refueling could nearly double that range, a capability that would prove critical on this mission. The Super Hornet was chosen for this mission because of those unique tactical strengths. Tomahawk cruise missiles lacked real-time targeting flexibility, and while F-35s brought stealth, they couldn't match the Super Hornet's payload without sacrificing range. This operation demanded a perfect mix: long loiter time, massive ordnance, and responsive precision. It needed to smash hardened bunkers and maintain presence for follow-up strikes. The Super Hornet was the only aircraft that could do it all. As the formation streaked across the Red Sea, pilots received live updates. At 10,000 feet, the strike leader confirmed all aircraft positions, 4 groups of 3, each aligned with a target in the mountain. Radio silence was maintained. Suddenly, ground forces reported contact, 6 kilometers east of the main objective, just as intel had warned. Extremists had spotted the incoming strike and were falling back into the cave system while suppressing Somali forces with heavy weapons under rock cover. The Super Hornets had to strike now, before they could vanish. The lead jet dropped to 6,000 feet, hugging terrain contours to stay low on radar. Through targeting pod feeds, pilots watched heat signatures cluster near cave entrances. On the ground, spotters painted the targets with laser designators, invisible to the naked eye but visible to the aircraft's sensors. The 4 strike fighters synchronized their approach and reached release points within seconds. The first 2 jets rolled inverted, pulling into a 45-degree dive. At precisely 4,200 feet, their weapon systems released the BLU-109s. The bombs dropped in silence, guided by laser tips correcting course during a 12-second descent. No immediate explosion marked their impact. Instead, the weapons vanished into the earth before unleashing destruction deep within the mountain. Inside, ammo caches ignited. Secondary explosions rippled through the network. This was the power of the BLU-109, a bomb built for targets others couldn't reach. Each 2,000-pound BLU-109 carried a 535-pound explosive payload, engineered to destroy reinforced bunkers. It could penetrate 8 feet of concrete or 20 feet of earth before detonating. Its hardened steel casing and nose cone design ensured structural integrity at impact. A programmable delay fuse let it explode 25 to 100 milliseconds after entry, allowing the blast to expand internally, collapsing chambers and tunnels from within. The extremists had picked the Gold Mountains cave network for its geological strength, limestone formations, reinforced concrete, and internal fortifications. Conventional bombs would only seal entrances. But the BLU-109 penetrated and detonated inside, collapsing internal supports with a pressure wave that left nothing standing. Still, the main target remained at large. With the initial strikes complete, the 8 Super Hornets pulled up sharply, but fuel levels were critical. The intense combat maneuvers had burned 40% more fuel than planned. 4 aircraft were nearing bingo fuel, their minimum threshold for safe carrier return. Without refueling, they'd have to divert to Djibouti, risking the mission's next phase. Cockpit warnings lit up. Digital fuel gauges confirmed the urgency. Tankers were needed, now. 30 miles west, 4 more Super Hornets approached in staggered formation. But they weren't carrying bombs. They carried fuel. The first strike jet banked toward the incoming tankers, reducing speed to 250 knots. From beneath the tanker extended a flexible hose ending in a basket-shaped drogue. The strike pilot eased forward, guiding his probe toward the moving drogue. After 2 attempts, contact. A metallic click echoed through the jet as fuel surged in. Within 60 seconds, tanks were topped off. This was the power of the D-704 buddy store system, turning a strike fighter into a high-speed flying gas station. Mounted beneath the fuselage, it transferred fuel at 220 gallons per minute. A complete refill took just 75 seconds. Each buddy tanker could offload up to 8,000 pounds of fuel, enough to give 4 strike fighters 90 more minutes over target. 30 minutes later, 4 Super Hornets circled the mountains at 18,000 feet. The earlier strikes had collapsed the main cave entrances, forcing survivors, including the high-value target, to escape through hidden emergency exits. And that's exactly what mission planners had anticipated. The lead jet's weapons officer noticed movement on his thermal display, figures emerging from a narrow crevice on the eastern slope. The targeting system flagged the heat signatures and gave exact coordinates. The movement was quick, staying tight to the rocks. The lead pilot banked hard, lining up a better sensor view. The pod's zoom revealed 12 human shapes, several armed. After verifying weapons, the system confirmed hostiles. The aircraft's targeting laser locked on and transmitted data to the network. 2 Super Hornets dropped from the pattern to 12,000 feet. They released their precision-guided munitions. The ATIR system steered the bombs in flight. On impact, the thermal displays flared white, then faded, revealing the scene. The battle damage assessment system confirmed it instantly. 12 hostiles eliminated. They wouldn't have been seen without the targeting pod under the Super Hornet's right intake, a pod that turns darkness into daylight and rock into glass. This is the AN/ASQ-228A TFL-IR, Advanced Targeting Forward-Looking Infrared System. It gives carrier aircraft targeting capability at 40-plus nautical miles. It detects, tracks, and identifies heat signatures, even through partial cover. With a resolution of 1.1 meters at max range, it distinguishes combatants from civilians and even identifies weapons. Its advanced mid-wave infrared sensor operates in the 3 to 5 micron band, detecting tiny thermal differences. The ATFL-IR pod's integrated laser designator delivers sub-meter accuracy, allowing pinpoint strikes on hidden threats, not just general areas. And for those 12 extremists, this system ended their escape. Unfortunately for their comrades, this was only the beginning. More strikes were coming. As smoke still drifted from the shattered mountainside and dust settled on scorched stone, the Super Hornets banked west. Mission complete. But this wasn't just a strike, it was a statement. Precision, power, persistence. The extremists thought the caves would shield them. They were wrong. From the decks of an aircraft carrier hundreds of miles away, American air power had reached deep into the earth and ripped the heart from a hidden threat. The A-18 Super Hornet had done what no missile or stealth jet could. It had fought, fueled, and finished the job all in one mission. And somewhere in the shadows, those who watched now knew. The reach of the U.S. Navy isn't just global, it's unstoppable. If you were impressed by the precision, firepower, and tactics showcased in this mission, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more in-depth breakdowns of real-world military operations. We dive deep into the hardware, the strategy, and the stakes behind every mission. Don't miss our upcoming videos featuring the most advanced weapons, covert missions, and military technology changing the battlefield forever. Got a topic you want us to cover next? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one. This is where strategy meets firepower.